Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for being back. If you're back with us, as always, before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the share button. Take that, share it on your Twitter, share it on your Facebook. Let people know what we got going on over here. It is coming to you. It's the late hours on Saturday. It's early Sunday, I guess. I've been at the goddamn comedy club. I've been working all day. And I'll tell you what, man, the shows have been okay. Honestly, it's a lie. The show's been horrible. I do think that kind of happens in comedy is that these people do shows and they're not comics. They're just like online personalities. And the guy we got right now is just like an abrasive, like a fucking, I think he said the N-word on stage tonight. I think I heard him say hard R on stage. Other people thought they heard him say it too. I think he might have flubbed the word haters and then he threw down an N-word because I was in the kitchen, I was eating tater tots, and I wasn't listening to the show. I had seen probably 5 of these shows already, been around for it at least. There's a lot of times I was eating tater tots to get out of the show, let's be real. So I was in the back, I'm fucking throwing down tater tots. And I hear, I'm not listening, I'm thinking. I'm like staring off, I'm thinking, and I thought I just heard the N-word from the guy that was on the stage. And immediately I go, I don't even say it to anybody. Don't bring it up. I just let it go immediately because I was like, there's absolutely no way. That's the thing that you would think would happen and would not be nice, but would be hilarious. Let's be real. If a guy like that slipped up and said that on stage and like ruined his career, the fact that I was there for it would be chef's kiss. Unbelievable. So this guy, I heard him say it. I thought I heard him say it. And I was like, whatever, finish some tots. I walk through and I go into the front of the building and there's people up there and they're talking about the guy on the stage having said the N-word on stage. And they weren't sure either. I was like, are you guys talking about, did he say that what I thought? I was like, I thought he said that. And they were like, yeah, we thought he said it to a couple of us. And some of them didn't think he said it. Some of them didn't hear it all. And I think that we decided that he didn't say it. What I think, though, is that he may, and I wasn't in there. Some people were right there listening to it, watching it. And they were like, it sounded like he just was trying to say a different word and he messed up and he said, and I won't even say the phrase. I won't even say it. Because he shouldn't. That's fucking crazy, dude. Anyway, that's how my night's been going. If you're watching the podcast, you'll notice we got a better video quality than before. We want to shout out to my roommate, Kanan Wichard. He's got a new podcast. It's going to be launching soon. We're kind of collaborating on podcast equipment now. So he's got some cameras. We got new microphones. If you're watching the podcast, if you're hearing, maybe it sounds different. Hopefully it sounds better. We got the official ass podcast gear now for the official podcast. So, yeah, dude, I don't know. We've been dealing with the racist internet. Folks, I'll tell you what is crazy about folks. It's not racism. I should not say. I wasn't experiencing racism in total, in really at all. Transphobia, sure. Anti-vaccination, sure. Anti-mask, sure. COVID conspiracy, sure. Racism, that was the only thing that I would have encountered. There was actually an African-American opener, Brad Sativa, very funny gentleman. And he was crushing this weekend. He was coming out on stage. The first show he did, or maybe 2 shows, he didn't say this, but then he started coming out on stage and he was going, saying hello or whatever. And then he'd be like, he asked him to be nice to him because this is his first Trump rally. And it would crush every time they laugh. And both of the host and the feature were kind of going at the audience a little bit. They were kind of making fun of them for like how they are. Like Brad's jokes aren't geared toward doing that. He's just doing his jokes. And he would only maybe get off some lines that he came up with over the weekend. But the other guy was it seemed like his whole act was he's an LA guy and he was all everything was about COVID, but it was like he was playing a character of a guy that was getting fake upset at the the things that people get upset about. And he's like saying it, they're laughing and cheering, and he's just like fucking with them. They're like the audience, people that are a fan of a comic that's like an internet person, they know you from the internet only, like watching your YouTube content, and you're like a YouTuber. You're not like a comic. Like Joe Rogan's a guy a lot of people know from the internet or from his podcast, but he's a comedian. Like there are people that come up from the internet just as like content makers. They make videos, they play characters. They don't know anything about stand-up comedy. But then they parlay that internet success into being in clubs, and it's mostly bad. It's mostly, I don't know, there's hardly anybody that I've seen that came from the internet and is hilarious, like as a stand-up. There are people I've seen where I was like, okay, you're like there are definitely comics I've seen in this club that are worse than you, and it's like the bar for those people, they come in and they just do well, and I'm like, oh, they had some jokes and they weren't bombing their dick off or being weird, talking about weird shit. Like, if they don't do that, I'm like, dude, they're kind of pretty good, huh? So, it's like such a sad, like, that's the measure for their career. For, like, every club they go to, it's got to be exactly the same. Because there's guys that come in like great comics all the time, and people that you don't expect to meet, people that you've never seen before, and they're happy to be there doing a guest spot, travel with the headliner. Or it's a new headliner you haven't seen. You're just seeing people crush and do well pretty often. So when somebody comes in and they're like, I wrote this fucking sketch about, my dick on the internet, it's not very funny. So people don't really like, the people that are their fans that leave the show oftentimes are like, he wasn't very good or she wasn't very good. And they'll be like, you hear them go like, the feature act was better, the host was better, I enjoyed the first part of the show more than, and they even knew the person, so like they came to see them, paid money to see them, arranged their fucking night, got tickets to see them, and then they're like, oh, the two guys, I had no idea who they were, I enjoyed that much more, and that means they're not going to pay for tickets to come back to see that headliner again. So it's kind of like a lot of YouTubers, they capitalize on their market of like being able to like sell tickets to a comedy show. But then when the people that are willing to buy the tickets come to the show, they are disappointed and they don't want to come back, or they've seen something better. They saw the features are better. There's probably better comedy. A lot of folks that come to those shows at the club, they've never been to a comedy club at all because they're not stand-up comedy fans. They're YouTube fans. So that's really interesting. Like that, the people kind of blow their career. And unless you have a career where it's like, so you come to Nashville this year and you sell out the club for 2 shows, and then most of the people leave kind of didn't enjoy you as much. The next year you come back, if you didn't blow up enough, or maybe say Nashville, you could have sold more tickets, but you didn't. People didn't get tickets to the show because they were sold out. Maybe if you do more shows the next year, if you're able to do more shows the next year, that's like obviously the better sign. But if it's like, same thing, 2 shows, didn't sell out and sold like 3/4 or half the room on the Late Show or something, that's like not good because it's like, oh, you're losing your clientele, like you're losing your people in the market that are coming to see you in Nashville and Houston and wherever you go. So that's what a lot of these YouTubers get. They do the comedy club, and then a lot of people that are their fans see them. Everyone in every city that wants to pay tickets to see them will see them. They don't enjoy it. The next year they don't get as much success. And what that turns into is the people that did pay to come out to see them, they probably become less fond of your content online. So like now your YouTube channel, you're kind of phasing out yourself. They're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. There are people that I know that have successful YouTube pages for things that aren't comedy, and they like will not use them to promote their stand-up because they're smart and they're concerned with like, I actually want to be a good stand-up and I'm not going to like blow it by getting gigs now, not being able to support it, being out of my depth. They like want to become a good comic and then be a fucking good comic. And that's what who knows what's better, honestly, because you're talking about money. There's an opinion that I've been playing with lately of there's like comics that I like a lot, that I love, that they start getting success, and the way they start marketing themselves, the way they produce their content, how much content they produce, and that kind of dictates the subject matter, the kind of current events they talk about. They start talking about what everybody else is talking about. And it kind of loses its edge and just becomes like a money-making machine instead of like fun. like that's like podcasts and certain comics for me. And the reason they escalate all their content and do that is because they create a big market for themselves. And who knows, that might go away whether or not you are better as a comic. It might just be like you're hot now and then you're not hot. Like not everybody stays hot, maintains their market when they go to a city. So there's an argument you can make that's, if you could sell the tickets, sell them now and get the money now. And if you can have like a hot couple years and you build up a bunch of money, then you can live comfortably or worry about getting better or working on what you want to work on later. But if you just if you get hot and you don't take advantage of your opportunities or something, then that's going to be it. If you get hot for like a day, you go viral and you don't capitalize and sell a bunch of tickets or try to do something with it, like stay on in people's eyes, you will lose it anyway. So it's just like you'll have to work. You got that one thing and it's like, well, I'm just going to keep working to get what? So it is kind of, when you think about it, if you were in the position, what would you do? I don't know. You'd like to think you're somebody that's like a great comic, some like virtuoso or like a prolific something, but most people are not. So that's why most people, I don't know, do fucking some dumbass stupid job. Dude, I got to work on not being condescending towards a lot of things. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about we like hanging out around comedy and around comics. And it's so exciting and it's fun, it's entertaining. And we kind of judge other people for like not having as much fun or living shit. It's like that scene in Goodfellas when they're like, other people, they were suckers. They had no balls. We saw something we wanted, we went and got it. It's like, it's not like that, but it's like I think about other people. I'm like, man, imagine if I was like if I went to work all day starting in the morning and then I fucking went home, my day's over at 5 and it's like I have to be in bed by the next 4 hours. It's like 9, 10 o'clock. It's like, that's when my day is kind of like, I'm like middle of the day. It's like, I don't know. That's like it's not just about the hours, but it's just like hanging out with comics is the most fun. They're the funniest, the most fun people. It's just like a good time. And it's not, when I talk about it out loud, a lot of the time you're just thinking about it. But when you talk about it out loud, it does sound ridiculous. But I'll just be like, other people are like living lives like suckers. It feels like comedy is like the funnest thing, the coolest thing to be around. But I don't know, man. I got to work on like not being judgmental about how other people are living their lives. Who fucking gives a shit? I mean, if they're not living in comedy, more comedy for me. Fuck it. But I got my stimulus check this week. I finally got the 1400, baby. So I'm stacked up. I'm starting to take jiu-jitsu classes on Monday. So I'm going to get ripped, probably letting like college age women choke me unconscious because I don't know martial arts, which could be cool. So we're going to see what that's like. I got a gi, dude. I got like a karate gi, and I'm going to go out there and learn how to armbar somebody or choke somebody. Probably just get choked or armbarred myself. Probably hurt myself. I have prescription lenses, and I did jiu-jitsu class once, and it proved pretty difficult to navigate the fundamentals class without my glasses. The guy would be demonstrating, showing moves, and I'd be like, I cannot tell what's going on. So I have to like run off the mat. I grab my glasses. I watch for a minute. By the way, I have a glasses appointment. I'm getting new glasses next week too, stacked up with the stimulus. But I get my glasses. I'm watching the shit, and then I have to run, put my glasses back in like my shoes, run back with my partner, and we work on the open guard face down arm bar. And that was one class. So I'm kind of looking forward to maybe getting like addicted to the jiu-jitsu thing, because it's I kind of have unlimited access to all the classes with the membership. So I'm going to go to early classes, hopefully. Well, not the early ones. The midday classes are 11 to 12 hour long fundamentals classes, like 5 days a week. And in the mornings, they got 6 to 7 or some shit like that, which is like crazy early. But I might still be up at some of those times. I might roll in there after, go do jiu-jitsu and then just come home and go to sleep. How about that, bitch? How about that with some martial arts on your ass? But that's going to be a lot of fun, man. I don't know. I've been looking forward to doing it for a long time, but that shit is expensive. You got to pay like $200. It's $200 a month, baby. $200 a month that turns into, I'm not so good at math, but that's like, $2,400 a month or a year. So, I mean, that is quite a bit of money. But it's worth it, dude, to get the, like, I'm looking forward to, like, getting obsessed with something, because I did it one time, one class, and it was like the most fun I've ever had. It was so much fun. And it's this fucking microphone, dude. But now it's like getting the opportunity to go there all the time and get, like, obsessed with, like, a martial art and something that's going to, like, benefit me physically, benefit me in, like, a self-defense standpoint. And because everybody be about, like, carrying guns, and I've been thinking, I got my stimulus, dude, why don't I buy guns? And I do want to buy guns. Can I tell you the truth? I do want to buy a gun. And I don't want to carry a gun. I don't want to, like, walk around with a gun. But if society fails, I want a gun, dude. That's kind of my whole deal. I could take the gun and just, like, bury it or put it in a safe or just clean it periodically, just test it to make sure it's going to work. But I don't really want a gun to be, like, hanging out with a gun. It kind of freaks me out, to be real. Like, I went to a shooting range one time. This is how crazy the South is with guns. If people from not the South hear this, honestly, people from anywhere, gun people, they probably would be shocked at this. I went to a range in Nashville, and the way I like to do shit before I do it, I do a lot of research. Like, I was thinking about buying a handgun, so I knew exactly the kind of handgun I wanted to buy. I knew when I went up to the guy what to say to make it sound like I knew about the gun, to make sure I knew about the ammo. I didn't want to look like an idiot. So I looked up a bunch of shit online. I fucking practiced thinking about it. So I went in, and I told the guy, I said, hey, I haven't shot a handgun maybe ever, and I haven't shot a firearm at all since I was like 13. But I want to try out this M&P 9mm second generation. Do you guys have one? I think I got like 150 rounds of 9mm ammunition. And he was like, yeah, dude, that's cool. So he got the fucking handgun. He got the ammo. He put it in a little, like, Tupperware thing I can carry with a handle. And he was like, here you go. And he just let me go. And I was so, like, weirded out, intimidated by it. I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to go in here and shoot this gun by myself without anybody telling me what to do. So I take my shit. When you walk in, you have to get headphones, like noise canceling headphones. I get my shit, and you have to walk through one door. They buzz you in, and then they see you in this, like, little holding room, and then they buzz you into another room. So what the guy told me before I went in, he said the first range, when you walk in, is being cleaned. There's a guy out there with a fucking vacuum cleaner vacuuming up shells and bullets and shit. He says, what you're going to do, you walk straight through. There's another range through that door. I'll buzz you through that door, third door, and you can go in. So this is what I do. I get my headphones, buzz through the first door, buzz through the second door, walk past the vacuum guy, and now when I open the last door, what I see is probably like 4 teenagers, like it's 2 couples, and they're like young kids wearing like Supreme and like dangly earrings. They do not look like they belong in a gun. They look like they came from the mall, and they're in there like shooting gun. But what I see is one of them holding a gun I know from Call of Duty as it's an automatic shotgun. And I was actually right. From a video game, I assessed that. I was like, that's the fucking AA-12, dude. And I don't know if that's what it's called in real life. But when I open the door, they're about to start shooting this super loud gun. I'm in an enclosed inside range. And I'm holding the earmuffs in my hand. They're not on my fucking head. I'm holding the plastic shit with the gun in it in one hand. I'm holding the earmuffs in the other hand. I'm about to get my ears blown out. For sure. There's nowhere to put the shit down. I like went into a panic. I did get the earmuffs on before they shot, but right as they were doing it, and it like you can feel the concussive force like in your body when you shoot a gun like that inside. So immediately I was like shaking like a dog with the fireworks. I was like my body. I wasn't even like consciously that freaked out. It just was such a crazy like the feeling of the guns fire. I was like fucking shaking. So I went over, he gave me a booth thing. I went over to the fucking booth, and I just start trying to put the ammo in the magazine. Luckily, some fucking guy saw me. And he comes up and he asked me if I knew what I was doing. I was like, bro, I have no idea what's going on. They just let me come in here. I told him, I broke down immediately. I was like, dude, I have no idea what's going on. This is freaking me out. The guy gave me the gun. I don't know what's going on. I'm in here. I loaded the magazine backwards, put the ammunition backwards into the magazine. I'm trying to put it in the handgun. It's backwards. Forwards magazine, backwards bullets. So the guy gets me set up, whatever, and I knew that you just pull. You don't crank the shit out of it, you know? So pull the trigger, you know? So I pulled it. It goes off. It's like a bomb explodes in your hands. It feels crazy at first. But then I went in, dude, I shot 150, 200 rounds of ammunition. It felt pretty good by the end. I did shoot the top of the target thing, the metal thing that they tell you that they'll charge you hundreds of dollars or whatever, which I think at the time I was being like a dummy. I spent some of the last money I had to go and shoot this gun. I'm thinking about buying guns. I had $0. I think I got my tax return right after that, though. So I was thinking about putting that tax return. But I do what I do with all my tax returns. I spend it on hoodies and jeans at the mall. Go buy new shoes, go buy new socks, hoodies and jeans. That's how I spend my money. I'll buy shirts that I'll never wear in public anywhere. And I used to never be somebody like that, but now my closet is starting to get more and more full of crew neck, long sleeve type shirts that I'm never going to wear to any occasion at all. Because I'm either just wearing these clothes or I have to dress nicer than this. And the crew neck is not going to do. And if I'm going to court, definitely not wearing a sweater, wearing the suit. So there's a lot of occasions I'll just skip right to the suit. I won't play. And I think I'm going to a wedding soon, and I think I'm going to use some of the stimulus to buy a new suit. I would like to track in this podcast how many things I said I'm going to spend the stimulus on. What is it? Jiu-jitsu classes. I'm going to get glasses. I bought a new phone. What am I investing in Bitcoin again? Am I going to put it all in Bitcoin? How much money is the $1,400? How much a dollar cost? Anyway, man, that's what's been going on lately. But, oh, dude, I did want to tell you, since we're talking about comedy club stuff. I think it was the same. No, it wasn't the same guy. It was some other girl. This girl, she's it was her first time ever doing comedy, ever. And she was headlining the club. And she originally sold out. She was selling a bunch of tickets, so they added a second show. She was going to do 2 full hours of comedy on her first night ever doing a comedy show, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard. And I was shocked when I was asking people, is this the first time? And no one was telling me anything, or they just didn't know. Nobody knew. It's not like they were misleading me, but nobody knew. So she said it on stage that she had never done a comedy show before. She obviously, I guess, done music stuff, played around, because she has songs that people know about. And there was these. So what was interesting about the show? Normally, to start a comedy show, you would come on the announcements, and you would go, "Hey, everybody, we'll just give you the rundown. You don't use your phone inside, and don't yell out and talk during the show, and don't smoke inside." And that's essentially it. We didn't really get to do that because her opener was a DJ. And when you start a show, right, I was playing music the whole time. I'm playing the Allman Brothers Band or something, Josh Turner, Why Don't We Just Dance? It's a big favorite of mine with the Country Whites. I have a playlist called Country Whites on Spotify, which I may make available. So I'm playing Country Whites, and then we start the show normally where I would go, "Hey, everybody, what's going on?" And no phones, and we're not smoking, and don't talk or yell out. We were just going to go into a DJ set. So how am I going to go, "Hey, everybody, welcome, and don't use your phones during the DJ set, and don't talk during the DJ set, and don't yell out or holler during the DJ set, please," when the guy's going to ask you to yell out and holler and stuff. And he played music for 30 minutes. So I didn't do any announcements. It would have been weird. So when she came out on stage, they yelled out a lot. And nobody smoked. And they didn't care the people didn't care if they were on their phones. They kind of wanted them to use their phones. So she got heckled horribly. And she didn't know how to deal with hecklers or what that was about. She's like a nice person. And she's probably used to like listening to people. So she let these people yell out and continually interrupt her. And she would have these long pauses where she was just listening to them talk. And so you couldn't hear them over the microphone. And so a lot of people all over the building, they couldn't hear anything that was happening. And she would, not only did she do an hour, which we thought, I was like, dude, I don't know if she's going to be able to do. She was going to play music and she hardly played any music at all. She did an hour and a half. It was crazy just because the heckling. People were so rude, dude. They were so rude. I can't stand. It's so weird that people don't know. I don't know. I mean, they were like crazy people. They've for sure never been to a comedy show, and they don't know like their idea of like a live event is something they saw on an episode of NCIS. Like they don't know what it's like to be in public. They might have like a bar that's got like a jukebox. That's like it. That's like they don't. There's like, they don't know anything. They saw a band once. That's the story they'll tell. Like, I saw a band once. They're like, who was it? It was Aerosmith, maybe. Not Aerosmith. It was like somebody's brother's band. The brothers, dude. Anyway, these people I hate. See, I was talking about. I gotta stop hating. I gotta stop judging other people, dude. It's fun to judge these people, though. I don't like them because they're intelligence level, and that is the thing. And I'm not confident to say that, and I won't stand on heavy ground thinking that that's the right thing. But that's how I feel. And I always fight how I feel. So it's not like that's going to be different. I'm always when are you not fighting? I don't think anybody is not always fighting how they're feeling, So like how you feel about what you're doing, you got to fight it. Whatever you're doing, fight it every day. Never grow comfortable. Never get complacent. Always keep working. Just make it a motivational thing. Never stop trying and always give your best. Always 110% and never stop not doing it. Anyway, dude. Oh, I did want to talk about... I didn't talk about the fight. At the front of the show, there was a fight of 8 lesbians. Or 7 lesbians and 1 man. I should be specific. So, at the end of the show, kind of towards when she was already 25 minutes over time. And at the front, I gotta stop laughing. There's plosives with this new microphone. That last one was very forgiving with the laughing. The lesbians in the front. There was one table right in the middle that had been yelling out for the whole show, yelling out constantly and disrupting her. They were the main ones that were talking to her. They couldn't let it go. And normally you would just like, you would get it. You're like, I'm disrupting the show. It's a sold out show for all these people. And you're like taking it over and ruining a ticketed event for all these people. It's like insanity. So the people next to them, I guess, were beefing with them. And the person on stage had called it out a couple times. I didn't know what was going on or who she was talking about. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, like 25 minutes over the time, everybody stands up in the front, like all 8 of these people. And the one guy stands up and he goes, that's it, I'm done. And he was with the table of people that were being pieces of shit. And I think he was embarrassed that they had been talking the whole time. He got it. And he was embarrassed about these drunk friends. And he was like, I'm done with you guys. I'm out. And he like got up and left. And he went to find somebody. And he was like demanding that he can pay for what he ordered. And meanwhile, the 3 that were left in his group were fighting with the 4 others. And they were like about to go to blows. So I walked I was there like immediately, but I definitely didn't run. I was like very far away upstairs. And I like was there immediately. And I went up to these lesbians and I said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but everybody's out of here. I didn't say it just like that, but I walked up and I said, everybody, we all got to go. And the 4 of them were like, hey, we didn't do anything. They threw a drink. I said, hey, I don't know what's going on. You're all out of here right now. We can't do this in the front of the show. It's 25 minutes over already. I got to go home. I got podcasting to do. I got stuff going on. So I get the 4 people out in the front. They say, hey, those people that were yelling out the whole time, they threw a drink on us. We told them to shut up, and they took their drink and they threw it on one of us. And I said, okay, that might be true, but I don't know what's good. The other ones, they went out the back door. They went the other way. I said, before we go back inside, my manager is dealing with the other people, and I can't let you back in. I just threw you out. So I was like, that's essentially was my stance, was like, I just made you leave, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm not really like a decision-making guy, and I've made this decision, so I can't just go making a second decision right now. So I went and found my boss. He's just arguing with the drunk people. I knew that these people were telling the truth by when I saw how the other people were acting. One of them was yelling that she's a bartender. The other one was yelling that she's been here a million times, that she loves the person that was on stage, and that they were having a great time, that she loved them, that they were having so much fun, and she loved what they were doing. It was like a great show. And they were insane people. So while this is happening, groups out front and out back, the person on stage is like, oh, now it's weird up here with all these empty seats in the front. Who wants to come sit in the front? People descend from all over the place, running, take all the seats in the front. There were 2 people sitting on the ground, which is disgusting. That carpet got AIDS, dude. I would never. I mean, I used to do push-ups on the carpet upstairs, right by where there's nothing that really happens. But where there was food and drink, dude, on that carpet, get out of town, buddy. Do not put your skin, like, whatever, when they do those allergy tests where they prick your arm and all those places, that'll just happen to the surface of your skin where you touch. And it's all bumps, dude. The numbers, too, the Sharpies. Anyway, so their seats get taken. The other people are gone. The 3 people, they get kicked out. But the other people, the 4 other ladies, they're going to get to come back in. And they don't have seats in the front row anymore. And they did nothing. They got a drink thrown on them, got the show ruined, got embarrassed, got thrown out for not doing anything really. And so we went up there. We told all those people that took their seats, we said, hey, you got to go. Now we're kicking you out of your seats. And we're putting the lesbians back in their seats. And honestly, there could have been lesbians. There were so many lesbians here. There could have been lesbians in the third group that were moved. So everybody takes their seats. Everybody's accounted for. And she keeps going over time. We kept doing more show, and there was no such. She at one point before that she had said, "I don't even have anything else. I'm just kind of hanging. I'm just kind of riffing it now." And I was like, and honestly, she didn't do horrible. I mean, to go up there and do an hour and a half the first time you're on stage, and I mean, she got overwhelmed by the hecklers. She shouldn't have been in a situation where a DJ opened for her. It should have been something where she had a good opening, and it wasn't the DJ's fault. Hey, this is DJ Slim McGraw we're talking about too. He's like my hero. Look up DJ Slim McGraw on Facebook. I'm sure he's on there. All you need to know about him, he mashed up Footloose, Cotton Eye Joe, and the Move It song. So I mean, that's how you know the guy is really throwing it down. It's like a real hip hop DJ, I think you'd say. Anyway, man, that's what happened with the lesbian fight. So they were whatever. They didn't get mad at me. I just told them, hey, I'm doing my job, and then the other people left. And then it was just a hellish week of crazy, weird shows and weird people. People not you gotta ask people to wear their mask and shit inside, and people don't. These are people from the places that don't like doing it. So they don't respond well to just like the big ask of just, hey, put this thing on till you sit down and get a drink, man, please, so that if someone calls the health department and the police and complains on us, that I won't lose my job. That's all I want. I literally, me and another guy, we had to tell someone that today. They were being so refusing of the mask thing. We were just like, hey, man, we were closed. We went into we were orphans. We're like, hey, man, we were closed for months, and this is like so frustrating to have to do this so many times in one day. We did 3 shows today, and like all these people, you're towards the back end of the last group of people. And I've had to ask so many people to do this already, and you're like refusing. And they weren't even refusing. This is what they were doing. I would say, oh, guys, hey, when you're inside and you're standing up, you just got to wear a mask, okay, when you're not at your table. And they go, okay. And then they just stood there, right? And I go, oh, do you, and this is, I'm no slouch, bro. I'm pretty decent at the job, okay? I got a lot of good tricks. I go, oh, do you guys have masks? I said, do you guys have masks? After I asked them, so I'm like, you guys wear your mask while you're standing inside. They go, oh, okay. They don't move. 4 people, 2 couples, middle-aged. They go, I go, oh, do you not have masks? Do you have masks? I say, nice. And they go, oh, we got them. And then one person pulls out a mask and holds it, but does not put it on. And then we stand there again. I'll go, oh, guys, it's cool. We'll get you your seats. You just got to put your mask on before you walk through the door, just while you're standing. And they go, oh, okay, good. And then one lady maybe puts them on, another starts pulling it out of her bag or looking like she's looking for one. And they have a bunch of people behind them. I think they just think we're going to let them in and do it. But I'm like pretty obstinate to just like whatever the rule is. If the rule is like, hey, take out your cell phone and we got to make sure it's on silent, or I got to see your IDs. If it's a rule I got to do. If somebody at work asks me to do something, I'm going to treat it like it's important. Like I can't stand to do a job. No, it's even more like it belittles me to when somebody goes, hey, this is your job and you got to do it. And then they don't even really expect me to do what they're asking me. And then I don't have to expect myself to do it either. Like I have to have some semblance of like what you're doing is important. I don't have to run the shit like it's the Navy, but I do need like to take it a little bit seriously. So and if you're gonna break the rules of my job that I have to take seriously, then I'm gonna make it weird. Not weird, but I'm gonna make you do it, I think. And normally it works out that way. These people, they were not having it, and we had to straight up like level with them, like, hey, bro, it's like this because of our jobs, man. We are enforcing the communist. These people think we're communists. They're like, these young people, they're just going to let them come right into their house and take their guns and butt plugs or whatever communists do. And I might do the last part. Dude, there was a lady today. Her last name was Marks with an X. And I wanted, her name was like Sarah Marks. And I wanted to make a joke so bad. Be like Carl? Like Karl Marx? But people don't. What I have found is people don't like when you make fun of their names and they're strangers. So, I try not to do that. But that's what's been going on with work lately, man. And I do want to do some fun stuff before I do this shit with Twitter. I do want to say this week I did something I never thought. I'm a Nike Slides guy now. I don't know if you guys can see the Nike Slides. If you're a video listener, which you should be, I'm only going to be putting out a couple episodes at a time on the audio platform. So you're probably going to get like 2 episodes on Spotify or iTunes, and then they're going to be gone. You can find them all on YouTube forever. So if you listen to an episode that comes out one week and then you maybe didn't get to finish it or you want to listen to it again, it's all going to be on YouTube for forever. And you can always go to youtube.com/myroom, and that's going to be where you find the podcast. Just My Room with David Chastain on YouTube. But so I got the Nike Slides, and I wear them all the time now. It's kind of like I'm never in the house without shoes on anymore. I never, like, when I'm going out and I'm not at work, if I go out for lunch. It's summertime now. It's spring and shit. I mean, it's spring, but in Nashville, it's already 86 degrees. It's like insanity. So, like, every day, it's like a rainstorm, humidity, or it's like 80s. It's like we miss the spring completely. So I'm wearing the Slides everywhere. I wear them in the house. They're like my house shoes now. I understand why old people do house shoes. It's very comfortable. And so I was the other day. I'm going to the bathroom. I go, and a lot of time, I'll be honest, I'll do a sit down pee because there's too many errors that happen with the distance where you got to do you pee on the toilet. You got to do stuff. There's just all manner of things. With the sit down, you don't have to worry about it. So I will do a sit down pee a lot. On this particular day, I did not. So I'm standing and I start to do a pee, and I'm peeing, and I do my job this time looking. I've learned a lesson of a lot of times where you're not looking, you're not being fully observant. You get too comfortable, you get cocky. So I'm looking and I'm peeing, And then I look away. And I'm starting, and I'm just thinking. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not even thinking about looking away. I'm just like looking off. I'm just thinking whatever. And then all of a sudden, I feel what feels like a vibration in my foot, my left foot, like a weird. I never felt this feeling of vibrating. And I was like, oh no. And so I looked at it, expecting it to be like a spider bite or like I was like, in my mind immediately, I was like, while my eyes were tracking down to my foot, I was like, don't panic. Because if it's an insect or something, or a snake or an animal, something, because you're peeing. And you're going to pee everywhere if you panic. If you move, you jump, whatever, you're not going to be able to stop peeing at the second that you're going to jump. So don't panic. Just chill. Maybe move your foot away, but try to keep the pee stream. I look at my foot, and there's pee in like a Y happening, which I've seen before happen. But normally that would happen when you start peeing, like right when you start. So I started peeing. I peed for a fair amount of time. No split stream. So I was at vibration of the foot. I look, I track down, full split stream. One's still going in the toilet straight, but the one's going way off on its own. It just pee is going everywhere, dude. And it was one of the most uncomfortable adult experiences of my life to have that happen. And honestly, it didn't get on any surface. It almost got on no surface, floor, toilet, or otherwise. Almost entirely on my pants and my slides and my socks. And it was horrifying. I wish there would have been a snake there. I wish a snake would have bit my foot. That would have been far more. But I think everybody's got, dude, there were plenty of times where I think I remember every time I made an error peeing. Every time. I think once I was at a friend's house in their subdivision, which was kind of near my house. And we were outside doing stuff. We were about to walk and go somewhere to some other buddies, some guy in the subdivision. And I peed outside. I was peeing and I wasn't paying attention. And I think the bottom of my shirt was down or something. Or I just wasn't paying attention. I peed like all over the front of my like basketball shorts. Like somehow something got and it hit and it was hitting something and peed all over and I was like navy or black basketball shorts. And I had no options. I had nothing I could do. So I had to it was warm outside and shit. So I just was I was almost thankful that we had a long walk to get to where we were going. And my fucking pee shorts dried. It was that was such an affecting, experience. The anxiety of any point in the rest of this time before I can change and get back to my house, somebody might know that I have pissed all over myself. And there was nothing to be done. Except to maybe bail on everybody and just go home, which I could have done, but I had more anxiety to be that I knew. I was like, why would I leave? What would I do? Just run on. I would never do that. And then the other times, I think one time I was at this is crazy. 2 at the same guy's. It wasn't the same house, but it was his parents' house. He's divorced parents. So that was at his mom's house where she lived with her parents, his grandparents. At his dad's house, maybe around the same time in the winter, we were playing out in the snow on a golf course that they lived next door to. Sledding, snowball fights, kid shit. I come into the basement. I go in the bathroom to pee. And I didn't look at all. I just start peeing. What happened was my child penis was so cold it got very small. And the whole head of my penis was inside of the skin part of it. And when I peed, the pee just went all over the bathroom, all over this guy's bathroom, which is carpeted, which is, you never do a carpeted bathroom. And I was so panicked. I was like, this is a bathroom. I was like, everybody's going to be, I didn't know what to do. I just left it. I just walked out because I didn't pee all over myself. And then there was a third time, I think I was at school or something, where my jeans flap I wasn't holding it back. I folded it to the side and started peeing, and on its own, while it had folded back and it pee on where the button and the flap is on your jeans. That's 3 or 4 pee mistakes right there. I remember them all. horrific memories, dude. That it's like those are the ones. It's because it's like gross. It's like there's a story I always remember about a kid from my middle school, and it makes me feel better about my stories. But he was in class one day, 6th grade. He's in class, and he's like, the person that told me this story killed it. They were like, he was in his chair, and he's like doing like this, like with his shirt, and he's like acting really uncomfortable and shit. And he like raised the teacher wouldn't call on him or something, or maybe he was just being weird. He wasn't raising his hand, and he finally like raises his hand, and he's like, "Can I go to the bathroom or whatever?" And she goes, "Yeah." So he goes to the bathroom, leaves. He walks back in. Like 6 seconds later, he walks out of the room, walks right back in, and he looks at everybody. He goes, "I didn't make it." And the class erupted in laughter. They went insane. He's like this. He's like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" Yeah, and he walks out, walks back in. Everybody's doing work. "I didn't make it." Crazy response. It killed. Like that's like you couldn't write something like that. That kid, I felt so bad for him in school, dude. I was very nice to that kid. We had a gym class together, and he was like taller than everybody and longer than everybody too. So I started teaching him a little bit of basketball, and he was kind of like bullying everybody underneath the rim. Everybody else sucked at basketball that was in that class. They didn't know how to play. They just wanted to like shoot 3-pointers and shoot jump shots, and they didn't know how to play defense. They didn't know how to play under the rim. So I would just like kind of showed him how he can stand with his back to the rim and catch the ball and then turn and just put it in. And we would slaughter everybody in basketball. And it's kind of hard to bully somebody when they're kicking your ass in basketball, which I kind of recognized, and I kind of wanted to. And I also told him, I was like, in our school, there's not a lot of tall kids. You should try out for the basketball team and just see if you make it, because the 6th grade team was not very good, or I guess we were in the 7th grade at that time. The 7th grade team, I mean, they're not, and there's nobody that's that tall. They'd probably take you just to be on the court and just to be in practice and shit. I bet they would do it. And dude, these people in the public school system that he was around, dude, they diminished his self-worth so much that he just didn't, the people that were on the basketball team, I think he didn't think he could be around them. He was like, I'm not that, like that club. It was like a club to him, like a class of people. And he was like, didn't see himself in that group, I think, which sucked. Because it could have, I don't know. He grew up to be a little bit weird, I think. But it could have changed. It could have been different. Some people you look at, though, then that you knew then, and it's like maybe you were destined to be weird. Like, I don't know who these people are now. I don't know. That's what's interesting about the social media thing. A lot of people have Facebook, they have social media, but they don't have, like, posting pictures of themselves all the time, because maybe they're not, like, happy about, like, they don't want to post pictures of themselves for people to say, what are they going to, in their mind, they're posting what for people to see what, which is, like, sad to think about. And here I go judging again. Looking down on people. I bet they're living perfectly fine, happy lives. I bet that they're invested in Bitcoin, and I bet they're, have NFTs. I bet they have I bet they live in a non-fungible token in real estate that they bought online. I bet that's how successful they are. So, I mean, fuck me. I don't own real property or digital property. I bought an iPhone yesterday, and it was supposed to be here in the mail, and they didn't show up. So, I think they put my dead stepdad's email on the shipping confirmation stuff. So that'll be fun. University of Charleston, West Virginia Pharmacy School. If I can get access to that email account, that would be cool. I would very much enjoy that. Anyway, folks, I think that's going to be it for the episode. I think we did a good thing. We're going to do some stuff where we start reading Jose Canseco's tweets next week. He's Mr. 40-40, a 2-time World Series champion, 6-time All-Star, and he also thinks that he is about the same as Bigfoot, and he's the delusional black belt in Taekwondo and Kung Fu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it's going to be fun to start going through his tweets and all the fun stuff he talks about. Also, if you want to get an autograph from Jose Canseco, you can see him at Happy Car Wash, Jose Canseco's Car Wash, on Wednesdays between 5 and 6 p.m. And he'll be hanging out dancing and signing autographs for you, and he loves his car wash. Don't forget to get gas and, of course, a car wash. So... Dude, I can't wait to get into those Jose Canseco stuff. I'm kind of sad we ran out of time today. And then, folks, as always, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure that you like it and all that good stuff. We want you to share it so that people know what we got going on here. This was a good episode, and I had a lot of fun. I think I got on a good story. I hardly talked about anything I wanted to talk about, and that was good. I got into a lot of good, fun old stories. So if you enjoyed yourself, please share it, put it on social media, put it on Twitter, and just tell people you had a good time. Do a rate and review on iTunes if you're on there. That's important. I got like no ratings on the Apple Podcast app, so if you're listening on there, review it, please. Leave me a 5-star rating or whatever you think I deserve, but don't rate it low because then I would just wish you wouldn't have done it at all. 5 stars or nothing. So thanks again for coming out. Come back and listen to us next week. I'm David Chastain. I'm out.